So while people on the side have said that Washington and Lincoln and Roosevelt have been the best presidents of all time, let me just say that they're wrong. Woodrow Wilson is the best president this country has ever seen. Wilson set up both a domestic and an international agenda that was successful on both ends. Not many presidents can lay claim to being successful in both policy arenas. Additionally, Wilson created some of the longest standing institutions this country has ever seen, with the Federal Reserve in 1913 and the Federal Trade Commission in 1914. Both these organizations are just as effective then as they are now, with the Federal Reserve saving the American economy from oblivion in 2008. Wilson was a fighter for the common man. In addition to the Federal Trade Commission, he used the Clayton Antitrust Act to exempt unions from being called a trust. Not only did this allow them to boycott and publicly protest, but it gave them the right to collectively bargain, which is possibly the most important worker right of all time, definitely the 20th century. Additionally, while he did fail to end child labor because his Keating-Owing Act of 1916 was considered unconstitutional, when FDR ended child labor in the 1930s, he used the framework of Keating-Owing that was laid out by Wilson. So FDR, you can thank Wilson for that one. Internationally, it cannot be said enough that Wilson promoted the ideas of peace, freedom, and security for all. Prior to World War I, Wilson actually acted as a mediator between the Allied and the Axis powers to end the war with very little conflict. Roosevelt, on the other hand, made secret deals with Neville Chamberlain and Winston Churchill, which ended up dragging us into the war. Wilson only entered the war on the grounds of keeping democracy alive throughout the world, with concrete proof of an external threat, which was the Zimmerman Note, of drawing us into war. Sorry, George Bush, on that one. And after the war, the 14 points that Wilson brought out not only created the League of Nations, but talked up some progressive ideas that are still talked about today, such as free trade, reduction of arms, freedom of navigation on the seas, and decolonization. If it wasn't for Woodrow Wilson, I don't know who a better president is.